Teta, Sasam Kundi, Rangi Dai Lamata, Ni Tobane, Sunday only on the
So the condensed nature of the three root deity, the root guru is that the object of everything that where one carry through the supplication prayer with the full devotion.
Rangi Jela, Teba Yon Tabajidu, Shepardu, Sanchetanju, Mati Pota, Hindi Sevachim, Hindi Chimukana on the Sonju said, Yon Tabaji Rangi Jela, Shet Tubashade, the Chetanji, Ye, Savanda, Lame to do Jelatan, Poi, Yeda, Teres, Day and the Sonju sent Yone on the gums.
So, with the full devotion and faith carrying through this practice, besides that generating compassion and loving kindness, and also the bodhicitta to all sentient beings, like a one mother and son, in this way just training one's mind and carrying through practice, through which that become the cause and condition one could receive all the blessings.
Tomenes, all your building on this, and the Miguel Gelas of a corner home, you know. So, to just say, on top of your own Gelas, said to me, then, you led the Tanjo in the marathon over this.
So, even that in our many previous lifetimes, whatever we have accumulated, any negative karmas, obscurations, whatever so, that could be possibly got purified if we could generate a genuine bodhicitta.
Rangi Lero Nyamumba, the Kamadra Nyamumba, Momboji, the Rongilla, Nemo Dunga, Lasova, Momboji Rongilla, Yen Duna, then Iran the Lion and Lami Shenlain and Rongilla, Jupiter, that Gangariers.
So when our mind get afflicted, giving rise to all this kind of the negative emotions or afflicted, just emotions, then that become a obstruction or obscuration to receive, any kind of blessing, whether it is the guru or even the meditational deities. For example, like, where we think, just I, which is the just cause of all this problem, and it is also very powerful. Until we release the grasping over the, I, the ego, till to that there is no way one could really attain enlightenment.
So
this, I, which is a strong grasping over self, to abandon it, it is difficult. It is just completely mixed with our mind stream. So for that purpose, to get rid of this self-attachment, the just grasping over self, that one have to concentrate and contemplate, every now and then. Even just when we carry through any specific practice of cigarette mantrayana, then in the beginning there is the chanting that which is called dispelling out all the obstacle creators. So in which also says that one the obstacle creator, the source of that is I, and then the self, attachment to self, which is the greatest ghost in the whole, the 3,000 meters of world, and that just to dispel out, and then we make, offering of dharmas. Based on that self-attachment or grasping over self, then there are existing what it is called the external, negative forces or evil forces. Otherwise, it is not really there to affect you. If one get liberated from the grasping over self, then there is no really existing anything external, negative forces or evil beings. And when we could not just liberate from this self-attachment, then, relatively there are also existing the external, like a ghost or obstacle creators. And then in that, the external negative forces also become that much, powerful. So when we do the Che practice, then where we make the offering of oneself, one's body to all these, gods, and then the evil forces and whoever. The Che practice, that which means that how we can try to release or let it go all the attachment or grasping over the self, and then making all this kind of offering to all the objects of refuge and so forth. That is just mainly what it means. So the Che in Tibetan, what it really means, something that you cut through. So the actual Che, which means what you really cut through, is that the grasping over self.
Ranji danse le metone punen dan red challenge do chen lumban delen do comban dinon do no se te tara he shendu.
But these days, the Che practitioners, they are a little bit different. That they just say, oh, there is a ghost in the, in the top of this, just place, and there is a ghost, in front, there is ghost in that side, and in that house there is ghost, and that, here ghost, and in that way, then they just try to, do some practice. So that is, instead of, cutting all the, thoughts, conceptual thoughts through the Che practice, but you are just trying to accumulate more thoughts. So Guru Rinpoche said that when there is a flourishing of the devil's activity, those who do the wrong practice of Che. Even in the Che practice, there are many times where you say pet, so that, when you say that, it is supposed to cut through all your just conceptual thoughts. And then in Tibet, there is a saying, if you don't know the actual meaning of pet, then that may lose your own life force. And just saying faith and inviting all those ghosts, then of course you have problems. So one time there is two lamas, and then there were also just two evil force or kind of ghost. And then these two ghosts or negative force, they said, oh, we really need to harm this lama. And then each of the ghosts followed each lama. And the one that ghost or the evil force followed that lama, and then somehow he killed that lama. And the other ghost just tried to help the lama. So that ghost or the evil force helped to lama. Just lama could have some clairvoyance or some miracles or some kind of power. And then lama also just kind of thought, oh, now I have some kind of quality, and then his ego and pride just really developed so much, and then he started just doing lots of deceiving sentient beings. And then in that way, just doing lots of negative, and then when lama died, then he went to hell. And then later on, these two ghosts, meet together. So the other one said, what you have done, some kind of harmful deed to this, that your lama. And the other ghost said, well, I have just done, just immediately I killed him. And then the other ghost said, oh, you really didn't do much harm. And then he said, what you have done then? And then he said, well, I just gave him all these kind of powers and clairvoyance, and then he just built up his ego, and he get distracted for this collection of worldly material things, and he could not apply the practice in the proper way, and he created lots of negative karma, and then I sent him to hell. And then he said, now he's there in the hell. So similar like that, if we really don't examine and don't watch properly, oneself, that of one's own practice and experiences, then that sort of problem may arise. So when just like where one thing one have just all this disciple, and then just people respect me, and then I'm something great, and then in that way if one just develop one's ego, then one will just happen same like that. So that is why every now and then or every time that to examine one's mind and train one's mind, it is just very important. So this our mind, to oneself, it is just a direct perception. It is not something kind of hidden. It is just expressing something towards somebody. It is not same like that. If you just try to concentrate into yourself, you will just know it. For example, like how one can just train is once when you get up and then, just making a kind of commitment, or today, this, whole day, I will not just let my mind to go and wander with the afflicted, emotions, and try to, just do some more, virtuous activity. And then in your daily life, where you just always concentrate whatever, just virtuous activities are, how much one can do, and then try to just avoid all those, non-virtuous actions. And then, when you are going to sleep, then you just, don't fall down on the bed as if you are so tired. And instead of that, you just, sit down and then, think how much, what you have done today, just how much of the negative things and how much of virtuous things, in that way you have to calculate yourself. And then when you found that you have done something, virtuous or, accumulation method, then you just, feel that happy and have that experience of joy. And then when you have done something just, more negative, then you have to think, just to point out your own fault that, from beginningless lifetime, you have been just, got so afflicted and creating all this kind of negative karma. And now still you are just, doing the same thing. And in that way, you just
Temba he bias on wrong jilla, Temba non get Karina late on the zonge, yes, you are the boy, the young of a London per dotto bajero. Then again, the Temba of shaking bias, so you get it wrong jilla. Lotenda was said, Lingo, so Dambanda was it. So Temba he bias the gentle tanker.
So you should have that mindfulness and conscientiousness, and then the just watching oneself, these three. And through the mindfulness, you have to concentrate what you are, the right things, what you need to do, and what, just negative things you need to avoid. And then relating with the, conscientiousness, you have to just always, be careful about whether you are really following according to in accordance with the Dharma or not. And then, watching yourself, your body, speech, mind, how you can just, train yourself, and how you can just, watch yourself, and how you can just, take care of it in a proper way, just in accordance with Dharma. So this is, our body, speech, mind always try to train with the, with the Dharma or the spiritual practice. It is just important. For example, like, your body, physical body, kind of more peaceful and, calm, and then just kind of, humble, and then also just, always when you do practice, sitting in proper positions.
share the kitchen or the sooner. Make it down on he drink and it down. Market general seen him budget, part of the Lord of Timbudget. Sanguine out, sooner.
So even your verbal action that, just avoid all those, harsh words and negative speech, and then, try to be very, just humble and nice, and something more positive, verbalizing that where you could just live, with the all in a more, harmoniously, as it is also said in the text that even you just, watch through your eyes, with a kind of sense of, respect and humbleness, and even you speak, you just need to have that kind of just sense, and then also your just mental action follow in that way. And then always not to just, forget the object of refuge as Buddha Dharma Sangha. And every time, whether just you have any problem or obstacles, things are not working, then instantly just think of the about the triple gem. Not necessarily you have to express, think in your mind. So in this way, when any time you have any kind of problem or difficulty, that instantly one could call and think of the the triple gems. And then in that way, for example, like even you are sleeping and sometimes you have a kind of scary dream, then instantly you could think of the the three precious jewels. So in this way, even you you may not immediately liberate, but at least in the intermediate stage where you could immediately think of the three precious jewels. So all this, the triple gem, of course, it doesn't mean that they don't have compassion or loving kindness or that, the wisdom is just because when we don't have, enough devotion or inclination, in a more sincere way, then, one could not just receive all those, blessings. For example, like, you guys may know that, just catching up lots of fishes. And then we Tibetans, maybe we don't know, and so we don't really catch many fish. You guys, most of the time, many of you just, enjoy just, having all those, fishing, that kind of wire, and then go to a lake, just enjoying all about that. And in that way, if there is just fish in the water, then when you threw that, just fishing net, then you can get it. And if in the water, if there is no fish, how much you threw the, fishing net, there is no way you can get it. So similar like that, just to have that kind of devotion or faith is like, same like that in the water if there is a fish. And then the guru's the compassion or that the blessing is like that hook. So if there is no any fish in the water, then same like that, there is when there is no devotion, then there is no fish in the water. So then the lamas, however, they just through their hook, there is no any benefit.
So Santi Mati put out the sentence, the sentence on the suit, Torin talking the song, and don't know in the top. Two
all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions that constantly just watching and taking care of all these beings who are just suffering and who are going to just upper realms and so forth, like just a one mother with the one son, just every time just take care of it. But the problem is that when we could not just connect with it in a proper way, then we could not get that benefit. The great the compassion or the loving kindness of these precious three jewels is not a partial thing. But that what it has to depend is that sentient beings, their karma, the karmic connection, and then the origin of dependent. So without any kind of actual connection or that real relationship, then it is more difficult to really liberate. So it is not that all these enlightened beings, they don't have that kind of just blessing or compassion, but when one could not develop one's devotion and faith, then that way one could not get connected with that. If that we not necessarily have to just depend upon all this kind of karma, cause and effect of karma, then just only that through the precious triple gems they could could liberate all of us. Maybe nobody is just anymore in the samsara. So that there is no way that just these Buddhas could do through us, like just throwing a stone. So that the cause and effect of the karma, that where in our day-to-day lifetime, how we can just follow that the proper way of cause and effect of karma.
Whatever
that the Buddha has taught, all this Dharma teaching, is that that purpose itself is to liberate all sentient beings and to lead them to enlightenment. It is not like that they are all just great scholar and then that's giving all this teaching. So with the so much compassion and loving kindness, and then always just thinking whichever way that can benefit this being, in that way all these teachings were taught. Otherwise, that that the Dharma, Dharma teaching, there is no other activity if it does not purify the obscuration or negative karma, and then to lead to ultimate realization. So in this way, we could do having this time, just practicing and doing all this practice together in a retreat. That is also in one way it is fortunate. It is just because that whole bunch of practitioners together then doing all these prayers, and that way it become more powerful, and that result that everyone could have it. So what it is called the assemblage, like a group of people, the assemblage, and that making that prayer, then the prayer is also more effective. So for example, like about 100 people, and then just among them killed the animal, and then they just enjoyed the meat, then all the 100 people, they have to just equally carry that karma. Same like that in the battlefield, how many just people are killed there, similar that even that whatever that killed, just every people in the battlefield, they have to just carry that same result. So if one just there is 1,000 people and then killed one person, then it is not like that one piece something just kind of divided. It is not like that. That every 1,000 people have that kind of karma of killing one being. And similar like that, when whole bunch of practitioners, we all just together do that kind of just prayer. So according to that, everyone can get that kind of just virtue or merit. For example, together, if have accumulated about 100 million Oman Pemehung, then that everyone could have that much merit. And anyway, that you all are just till now just harmonious each other. Anyway, that to be maintain the words of honor properly is important. So all that practitioners in Vajrayana, that they are naturally like all the Vajra relatives. So that is why every time just loving each other, and then also that respecting each other, it is just important. And so as a part of that secret Mantrayana, the words of honor, that where we just try to understand that everyone is like a male and female bodhisattva, or like a deity, where we don't have that kind of ordinary concept of as an ordinary being. Yeah, so now that the second year Dzogchen, just stay here, and rest you all can leave to carry through your practice.
Oh yeah.